Streaming live via the internet. Welcome to ISP Radio, your weekly source for ISP-related news, events, and interviews with industry experts. If you deliver internet via fiber optic, wireless, coax, or any other way, you're in the right place. Chat live with us weekly via ispradio.com every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. And now a brief word from our sponsors. Link Technology, providing ISP consulting, support, and hardware for wireless ISPs. TowerCoverage.com, providing online RF coverage maps. Mimosa Networks, providing high-density, high-bandwidth radio products. Advanced LLC, providing retail and wholesale advanced communication services by matching providers with your bandwidth needs. And by Sitel, providing reliability in surge suppression. And now your host for ISP Radio, Steve Grabiel and Dennis Burgess.
Well, Steve, we have plenty of things going on. For those of you that don't know, of course, we have WISP America coming up. I'm sorry. Yeah, WISPapalooza. Yeah, let's get the right name, right? WISPapalooza coming up. Very, very important. If you have not already signed up, you should be doing so right away. Note that if you are live, you can, of course, do the live chat on our website, ispradio.com. If you are not, that's okay. We have all of the videos available online, and usually it only takes about an hour, I think, for all the videos to get up and running as well. Probably the biggest news of this past week is Mimosa Networks, believe that or not. Mimosa Networks recently announced a new version 1.2 version of their Mimosa B5 and B5C software, plus a new pricing structure. If you have one of those radios, you might want to check out the new upgrades. Lots and lots of upgrades and options in that particular system. Some of those features, if I remember correctly, lots of much faster channel changing, some channel changing without losing and without disconnects. Believe it or not, that's pretty dang cool that you can just go ahead and do the upgrade there and don't even have to, do a channel change, not have a problem with your customers. You're still up and running. So that's really, really cool. I actually did a link that I have that we upgraded to 1.2. That particular link usually ran about 180 meg typically at the most, and now we're up above about 320, 330. So definitely some issues. Seamless power leveling, channel width, channel changes, assuming it's non-DFS anyway, is some of that new link availability and uptime. No reassociations or traffic interruptions during those changes, and automatic channel width changes incorporated into the rate adaptation to help maintain the highest SNR depending on your interference condition. They definitely improved their auto everything, faster spectrum analysis, dramatically improved small packet performance. One of the big things that I know lots of people are interested in, SNMP read support. All of a sudden, we can SNMP probe our Mimosa radios. So really good stuff there. They also have a number of other management abilities. Go ahead and take a look at mimosa.co, one of the show sponsors. So make sure you check them out and take a look at those upgrades because it's very, very good to see those. Keep in mind, you do need to do the remote end first and then come back to the main end or the local end on those. So you will lose connection whenever you do the firmware upgrade. Other than that, I think all is quiet in the industry. I do have one other thing, but I have to pull that up here momentarily. Let me find this real quick because it is important. Steve, you have, I know you said it's getting ready to rain out there. We have had horrible heat. Matter of fact, yesterday the heat index was 118. Our temperature was 100, so that tells you how much how much humidity we've had here. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. You stay indoors, stay where it's cool. What really sucks is there's a little community up north. Actually, it's more in a developed area than where we're at, even more in the South City or West County area is what we call it. And they actually had some storms, so we get some heat-driven storms at the end of the day or at the end of the week, if you know what I mean. And those heat-driven storms usually cause several other issues, but we get these storms. They had almost 2,000 people without power for now 2 days almost with this heat. So, there's definitely cooling stations, all that. The last bit of news I have for you is the WISPA Board of Directors elections are over. The election results have been posted. There was 5 positions, and I believe we had 8 or 9 different people that ran for those positions. So first off, to all the people who ran, thank you very much. You are active in your community, and we hope that even if you did not get elected, that you are still active in the WISPA community, because the WISPA community is the community that we're talking about here, the people that run 5 gigahertz, that do fixed wireless. So the new board of directors, I should rephrase this, the new 5 board members that either have been reelected or are new members. We have Chuck Hogg has been reelected, Mark Radeberg, Daniel White, Brian Young, and Blair Davis are all going to be the new or existing board members for the next 2 years as well. So congratulations to all of them. They have been elected to a 2-year term. They actually officially start next month. At the next board meeting is whenever the outgoing board members move on and the new board members move in. So there we go. Congratulations, and we hope to see great things out of all of the WISPA board members. With that, back to you, Steve. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to get. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a good thing. There's definitely some new people and new ideals in there, which is always a good thing. And that's why you have elections, and that's why we want to rotate people out and back in, etc., is because we want those elections to go on. We want to bring new blood and new ideals into the organization. So, and we do have some outgoing board members, a number of them. Elizabeth is heading out, and several other people is heading out. I'm trying to think who else. I'm just completely drawing a blank here for some reason, but that usually happens at the most inopportune time, right? Uh, but we do have Elizabeth Bowles. She's been a long time board member. She's on her way. Jeff Broadwick, he is actually going to refocus his efforts on other things, but he is going to be replaced by one of the same people from his organization, Brian Young there. And then we have Blair Davis. Man, he's been out there in the WISP industry forever. I swear. We have Daniel White. And then everybody else there, Chuck and Mark, have been on the board for the past 2 years, and they were reelected, Chuck being the current president. So definitely really good stuff, and it's really good that we get new ideals in there. So, 3 new people is always a good thing. There you go. There you go. I do not. I do not follow the Ubiquity firmware updates. But if it's anything like Microtech actually has implemented a different numbering scheme now, and they have actually defined it, which is always good. In Microtech, you always see we're on version 6, and then we have a dot and a version number. So right now, I believe it's 630.2. So The 630, anytime the second number changes, that is a feature update. In other words, we're either updating a feature, adding features, things like that. Anytime it's strictly a bug fix, in other words, hey, we found a significant bug, or we found a bug that needs to be patched immediately, you're going to see that third digit. So 630.2 means there's just two bug fix revisions of that version. And we've seen a number of times where, hey, they put it out. I'm going to tell everybody this, and if you've never done software development, I'm going to give you an example is no matter how much you try to beta test, it doesn't matter. Until it gets put into production in the real world, you will never find everything. And you can test all you want, but you don't get the either participation in the testing as much as you would like. Because, most people, they don't want to put beta software in production. And that's the way it is. So until you release it, and same thing with Ubiquiti, with anybody else, it's very hard to put beta software into production. Therefore, until it's released, you don't know if there's a weird bug, especially with the system as complex as Microtech, whereas you have many feature set, a huge feature set that all has to work together. So keep that in mind. The big thing is, how do they make updates and how do they make changes? How can they, hey, this is a big bug, we're going to fix it right away. And if they get that done, that's all you can ask. So, well, see, that really kind of comes down to the question. The answer is, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. That would be my philosophy in that. Okay. However, you should keep abreast of the new features and bug fixes in the new versions, because you may now, at this point in time, not use a feature that has a bug, but later on you may go, okay, hey, we're going to start using this feature, but hey, look at our release notes and we see that there was something updated, so maybe we might need to have a bigger and better version. For our production systems, we are never on the latest, and we don't sit there as soon as it comes out and roll everything to that. That's not going to happen. Okay. But what we do is we find a version that we like, we stay there, and then if there's a reason to upgrade features, etc., then we do so. Yeah, whenever we look at the Mimosa stuff, and I can toss this up on the screen here. Actually, I will. Let me toss this up on the screen just for everybody to see, because it's very important. One of the big things with the Mimosa stuff is there is a lot of features. There was a lot of things that came out. Seamless power leveling, channel width, channel changes without reassociating. That's a huge feature, and that's what you look at. You look at, is there a feature that's really going to affect and help my link or my budget or my software, whatever it's doing. And that's whenever you just make that decision. Am I going to deploy it or not? So keep that in mind. It's never something that you need to be informed, and you need to make that informed decision. But if you look down here and the updates were not anything that you really needed, okay, then why bother? You're not going to need to take down your network or upgrade that for any reason. So just keep that in mind, is that all of those things are really good. But you have to take it with a grain of salt. Don't just jump in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there needs to be a reason. If it's going to fix a problem that you have, great. If it's a new feature that you need, great. If not, don't mess with it, because it's not broke. So
back, plug me in to get them up and running. And I know that's not ideal, and I know that there's dual WAN broadband routers I can buy that's specific for that. And I was talking to Dennis about this, and I explored how to do it using MikroTik. What I'm going to propose to these people is, let me install a device that will automatically fail over, and you don't have to touch anything. And Dennis, can you go a little bit about that in MikroTik and how that's done?
Well, there's a number
and the benefits and the added benefits above what I've said about it.
Oh yeah, there's a number of benefits in different ways of doing this. So one model will not fit everybody. Okay, the simplest is I have an independent router of some type. It could be a MikroTik, it could be other products that do the same thing, and you can basically say if this link is running. Great. If it fails, if we have some check that we go out to the internet and we're checking, we can't get to XYZ IP or something like that, then we want to go ahead and automatically make this other circuit active as quickly as possible. Are you going to lose a VoIP call? Yes, you are. Are you going to lose a connection to whatever site you're on? Most likely. Are you on your banking site and is it going to throw up a big red flag going, oh my gosh, you changed IPs? Yes, it is. However, it keeps most people up and running for what they are. And as you said, credit card processing, that's a perfect example. Most credit card machines would never even notice that you switched that circuit over to get them internet connectivity and to continue internet connectivity. Now, there's a number of other things that you can do with them. That's the basic. That's just active, backup, failover. Very, very basic. So now we go into other aspects. Now, you use the word multi-homing. That's really not what we're doing. We're just doing active backup failover, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If we did multi-homing, we would actually have to do a little bit more intelligence. We have to know this circuit is closer for XYZ website or this circuit's closer. So this is where you get into BGP. And for small circuits like that, you're probably not going to do that. Now, what we do for a number of customers is provide what we call aggregate IP space. So we bring in IP space of ours. We give that to them so they can run their servers, things like that. Now, in the particular example that you gave, it's probably a bad case usage, okay? But if you have a business that's long-term there and they get a cable connection or they get something like that, what we want to do is we want to be able to bring in their public IPs and have redundancy over multiple circuits. So what we would do is we would actually take from a core device or a device right next to our fiber, okay, in our backbone, and we build a VPN over, let's say, their coax network, okay? That VPN allows us to fail between the coax and the non-coax, the wireless connection, and they maintain the same IP space. So in other words, their mail server don't go down, their website don't go down, okay? Now for us, that means bandwidth comes into us and goes right back out. Now that may be a bad or good thing. That's something you need to work out. But a good example is that if that is with the local cable company, why don't you have an interconnect with the local cable company? You start doing that more and more and more, you may end up finding out that, hey, me getting a peer with the local cable company may be very beneficial for those types of services, okay? Maybe the local cable company participates in the local bandwidth exchange building. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But maybe it may be cheaper to buy a small circuit from the cable company and say, hey, we need to do BGP peering so that data comes in me through my main internet circuit, and then it's going to go right back out to the cable company because that's where that VPN is. So it makes it very efficient. You're not double dipping on that bandwidth. But that's up to you. I mean, that's up to your network design and if you do that a whole lot. But that's a good example of doing, basically now you have active backup, and you use OSPF to do that as well over those tunnels, etc. But that gives you your active and your backup, and it maintains IP space. The third thing you can do, though, is load balancing. And it really depends on how much load balancing you want to do. You can do some fictitious load balancing where you just say the cable connection is 30 meg, the wireless is 10 meg. send two or three connections to the cable modem and one connection to the wireless circuit, and that gives you aggregate bandwidth. That's only if you need aggregate bandwidth. That doesn't help you whenever we look at for failover. Obviously, it does help you, but it doesn't really help you with your public IPs, things like that. So those are just some other options. But any of those options can be done with Microtech or some other type of solution. It really depends on how fancy you want to get. Here in our area, we actually have the ability to resell a layer 2 coax circuit, which is kind of a different thing. Basically, what happens is the cable company transports the cable modem all the way back to us at a peering point that we have established, and then they can do whatever they want. Now, the only downside to that is that then if the coax network goes down, obviously we can fail them over if they have a wireless connection. But that means all their bandwidth has to go through us. So you have to charge accordingly as well.
Right. One question I have for you is, so say the people don't have the option for two services, two separate services. Say they're out in the middle of nowhere and their lifeblood is with the internet. Is it possible to set up this failover thing on your own network? In other words, if I have a tower that these people say they see 3 of my towers and they want that redundancy, is it possible to set that up also within their house, even though they're on the same internal network? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, what you're asking is, can we set up redundancy within your network? And that's really up to your network, I would guess. You know, if you don't have a network that can do the redundancy, but the example is a properly routed OSPF network should not have a problem doing that at all. Mm-hmm. You would just simply take that network. You would get 2 connections to 2 different towers. You give them a small subnet. Maybe it's a single IP that OSPF can handle that failover however it needs to be, and their public IPs can move, etc.
Right.
One's primary, one's secondary. That's definitely not a problem to do as long as you have the proper routing set up. Now, you can do other things. Let's say you do have a bridge network. You can build a Microtech that would house that, put it in a bridge group, set your costing accordingly, and hopefully it doesn't create a bridge loop. It is possible to prevent the bridge loop, and it is possible to use that in a bridging aspect. I would not prefer to do it that way. Mm-hmm. Too many things could go wrong very easily.
Right, and thus your redundancy goes down the toilet.
Well, yeah. And you know, keep this in mind. I have done this. I have seen this done before. I have had customers with multiple internet connections from the same provider, so multiple towers. And what happened is the backhaul between tower A, B, and C, one of those backhauls went down. The customer was on tower A and tower C, and then since that backhaul between A and B went down, they're like, how is B getting on the internet? Well, because we had proper routing, the only route that we had was through that customer site. So we literally sent data down to the customer site and then routed right back up to tower C, then out to tower B. Make sense?
Yeah, so let me just paraphrase. You were pushing all of your data through that customer's house, right?
Well, yeah. In
or all traffic.
In this case, it was a business that wanted redundant connection. But since they had those connections and the connections belong to us, it's not like we're not going to try to use those. Obviously, that's not perfect, but it's better than being off.
No, for sure.
You know, slow is always better than off. So what I always say anyway.
Oh, I totally agree. So what other things are you seeing out there, people calling in for help with, Dennis, that might be fruitful for people listening?
You know, we have so many different people that call in for every different reason. It's really hard to sit there. We've done a lot of IPsec sessions recently in different types of VPNs. We've built a lot of VPN networks for customers. So those are always fun things. Most of our efforts, or at least my efforts anyways, definitely been based on the new updates to towercoverage.com. We've definitely had lots and lots of improvements there, but just like anything else, there's always little bugs, little quirks that have to be worked out that, it never fails. You sit there and you go, why would someone ever do that? And you sit there and start thinking about it, and you're like, I don't see a reason why, but they are. So you have to plan for it.
But by and large, you're able to help the people through these anomalies that people want to do, right?
Oh yeah, but typically we always do. I mean, it all depends on what it is. Sometimes we have to go to upstreams. There's always gotchas and hidden things in there, but that's what we're here for and why our experience is out there. So shouldn't be a big deal. Just a matter of plugging through all of the tickets that we get, which is a lot, and going through all the systems. So all depends on what they want to mean. An example, I'm just going to give you a couple of examples, is we did a router cutover for a customer going from an XA6 to a CCR that was aging. Really wasn't overly complicated, but we did that cutover. Adding sites to a large-scale network. I have a 200-unit CapsMan system that we need to upgrade and make some modifications to. Those are just some examples of that.
What's CapsMan?
I'm sorry?
What's CapsMan?
So you've heard of like Ubiquiti Unify. Unify is their centralized access point controller. Microtech has what's called CapsMan, which is the Microtech centralized access point controller.
Gotcha.
So in this particular case, we have, I think it's 2 buildings that have 200 or so APs in them, all Microtech APs that we need to change the networks a little bit, things like that. In all reality, half the time is going to be spent gathering what do they actually want. And then it's probably going to take me a half hour to an hour to actually deploy all 200 APs with the new settings. Because that's the whole point of CapsMan, is that you push those settings out.
Push them out to each AP.
Yep. So we make an SSID change with a VLAN setting or an SSID with a tunnel. We set that up, and usually 200 APs, it's only going to take a couple minutes to push out.
So you're a Microtech trainer, certified trainer. Have you been doing any trainings, or do you have any trainings at the up and coming that people might be
That's a good question. We do trainings. We do quite a few trainings. Most of the trainings that we do are private. In other words, we come to your business, usually set up either in a conference room, or we have relationships with several hotel chains that we can usually get a decent deal on hotel rooms as well as a conference room. And we do the training privately with any of the students from that company. And that can be anywhere between 5, 6 students all the way up to 20 students. In those particular trainings, we also try to focus down onto what are they using. So the example is that if they don't use a whole lot of Microtech wireless, is that something the company wants them trained on? Well, maybe we don't train them as much on that. We give them an intro to it, but we don't really push into that. So we customize that training based on whatever their needs are. We are trying to, or we are planning a public training session here in St. Louis soon. It is not all confirmed yet, so until we get that all confirmed, we can't really set any dates. But of course, you can always visit linktex.net for any of those updates. We'll always put those out there as well for anybody that needs to see those. So,
well, I hate to cut this short unless you got something else, Dennis. It's a pretty quiet week. The end of the world hasn't happened because of Title II yet, and just got Wispalooza coming up. And like I said, all those folks that won the seats and the board expect phone calls from us. We'd like to get you on the show and just talk about what you feel is important to you in regards to the industry. What do you think, Dennis?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great idea. We're going to have to figure out how to take a video and play it back, because some of them may not be available for the show, but maybe we can get a little interview going beforehand and go from there. You know what I'm saying?
Right, on their time, and then just play it, have it sit there for playback. And this new system that you guys set up, that just working through the bugs. I think this is our 3rd show doing it. It's actually working out pretty good, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, we had really great participation last week at the 2.5 gigahertz auction. That video, just so everybody knows, if you go to either our YouTube channel or you go to ispradio.com, go right to the bottom of the page, Actually, I'll pull that up for everybody so everybody can see this really quick, because it's always nice to see what everybody's talking about. As soon as I find the right screen, here it is. So, if you go to ispradio.com and pull that up, obviously what happens is we have our upcoming shows right here. We have our live chat. Please ask any questions. See, there you go. Live chat for anybody. And if you scroll right down here, we have all these videos right here. You can just click whichever one you want. Opens it right up in the new window there. A lot of these are some of the old sessions where it's just audio. I recommend this Aaron CTO IPv6 video. Really, really great information for everybody in that. As well as the 2.5 gigahertz auction stuff. Again, that is available on our website, ispradio.com. You can go right there and check those out. And we also have lots of the other ones. We have BGP, lobbying efforts, Title II information, lots of great information in here. And all you have to do is click whichever one you want. And if you click right there, that's going to be our live broadcast. That's going to get kind of goofy whenever it scrolls up. But all of those will be available 24/7 at the ispradio.com website. So make sure you stop by and take a look. Lots of great information out there. Just awesome information on there. And like I said, keep it up. And if you have any questions, please send them in. Or if you have any show topics or possible show topics, send those on in to support at ispradio.com.
Yeah, this new format is going to be really tremendous in the fact that people that we interview will be able to put up screenshots and show us exactly what they're talking about so that everyone can understand a little better instead of just with audio. I think that this is a tremendous improvement for the radio show, Dennis.
Oh, yeah. And well,
kudos to you.
Well, thank you. And you have to keep in mind that, hey, most of the people that are listening in, they are sitting in front of their computers, or they're sitting there where they can they have broadband anyway. So, and it is all YouTube. And just so you know, we did make the YouTube. So if you have the YouTube app on your cell phone, whatever it may be, you can go on there and you can actually download the videos and watch them off non-live on your smartphone as well. So just keep that in mind.
Oh, cool. Well, short show today, but a lot of good information still, regardless. So with that, I think we should wrap up. What do you think, Dennis?
Sounds good. We will close her up. Ladies and gentlemen, again, if you have any questions, queries, or posers, send those over to ISP Radio, sales or support at ispradio.com. With that said, good luck.
Thank you for listening to ISP Radio. We hope you've gained new insights and additional wisdom in our industry as well as your business. Please remember to visit our show sponsors via the links on ispradio.com. If you're interested in becoming a show sponsor, contact us at sales@ispradio.com. Now go out there and push those packets as fast as you can. Good luck and Godspeed.